Well, we know the man, we know his music, and it's such a happy thing to get him in the studios with the same spring of energy. Juggy Paji, you're not getting older, man. Welcome to Radio City.
Thank you very much. सारे ਨੂੰ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਮੇਰੇ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਪਿਆਰ ਭਰੀ ਨਮਸਕਾਰ, salam, sat shri akal, and Yuvi, it's always a pleasure to see you. You have a great energy, man. I know you commented on mine, but ਤੇਰੀ ਵੀ ਉਦਾਂ ਦੀ ਹੈ.
Paji,
I love it.
ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਾਂ ਸੁਣ ਕੇ ਵੱਡੇ ਹੋਏ ਆ, I remember doing those cross-leg things on his song Soniye and the vibe that we have got. But Paji, welcome to Delhi.
Thank you.
It's to 2025, and I think all of us have been waiting for your music to come out.
Thank you.
ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਦੱਸੋ, how have you been lately? ਕੀ ਚੱਲ ਰਿਹਾ ਲਾਈਫ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ?
Everything's good. ਮੇਰਾ ਬਾਬੇ ਦੀ health is the most important thing in my life at the moment. Well, it has been for the last few years. You know, making the right choices, making some positive changes, and baki everything else just falls into place. When you focus on the right things, everything else works out. You know.
ਭਾਜੀ ਇੰਟਰਵਿਊ ਦੀ ਸ਼ੁਰੂਆਤ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ ਕੈਂਡਿਡਲੀ ਪੁੱਛਦਾ because I have that comfort zone with you.
Yes.
Should we do a good interview or should we do an honest interview?
Let's do whatever you like. Whatever you like.
Paji, we've been missing your music. You've been concentrating on your health.
Yeah.
Of course, social media आजकल कोई छुपता नहीं है. Everyone knows things that you've been doing. There's a huge transformation in your life. Health taking the back seat. Is that the reason, or also other reasons probably, that music is taking the back seat for some time now?
No, so we did a bunch of stuff last year. We released a few singles last year, Tere Naal, Vang, Galassi. So those were independently done on my own channel. So, you know, obviously when you're releasing stuff yourself, you got to put in lots of effort. You don't have the backing of huge labels and huge budgets. So you do things, and sometimes they don't go as crazy as you would expect them to. But ਆਪਦੇ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਵੀ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰੀ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ, and ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਾਡਾ true fan base ਹੁੰਦਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਵੀ ਹਾਂ ਗਾਣਾ ਆਇਆ ਇਹ वो, you know what I mean? So and it keeps the phone ringing, it keeps me coming back to India. You know, it's I've been very blessed that for the last 23 years ਹਰ ਸਾਲ ਸਾਡਾ ਇੱਥੇ season ਲੱਗਦਾ ਹੈ. You know, and I can't be more grateful than that as an artist that's still performing his first album, which is now 21 years old, but it still feels 21 years young.
Yeah.
You know?
But कहीं सोचा सी भाजी, honestly, one track, क्योंकि that has crossed generations. क्योंकि क्या होता है, 20-22 साल च ना sound बहुत बार बदल गया.
बिल्कुल.
But that one song, that is basically your identity in the music industry, let's say. What do you feel like that one song has crossed through generations?
It's a blessing. It's a blessing. You never expect what's... यार पता ਕੀ ਹੈ, with songs, with music, ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਉਮੀਦ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਇੱਕ ਗਾਣੇ ਦੀ ਯਾਰ ਇਹ ਹਿੱਟ ਆ, ਇਹ ਚੱਲੇਗਾ, ਔਰ ਉਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਚੱਲਦਾ, ਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਕੋਈ ਨਾ ਕੋਈ ਗਾਣਾ ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹਾ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਤੇ ਉਹ ਸੁਪਰ ਹਿੱਟ ਬਣ ਜਾਂਦਾ. ਇਹ ਸਾਰਾ ਰੱਬ ਦੇ ਹੱਥ ਹੁੰਦਾ, right? And ਜਿਹੜਾ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਫੈਨਸ ਨੇ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਐਕਸੈਪਟ ਕਰਨਾ, it's you just don't know where it's going to go. ਆਪਦੇ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਸਿਰਫ ਆਪਾਂ ਮਿਹਨਤ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ, right? We just put our effort in. I had no idea what was going to happen with that song. I didn't know it was going to take me around the world. You know, I didn't know I would be sitting here still to this day talking about that song.
If you are from this generation, by the way, for your reference, we're talking about this song that came 22 years back.
21 years ago.
Soniye ni soniye tere naal main nachna. I don't remember a club even today not playing it on a Friday, on a Saturday, on any of these random days, Paji. You've told it a lot of times. Yeah. I'll take you back to the song, the making of the song.
Yeah.
Kiddha di life sigi back then?
Young, naive, excited,
witty,
living the dream. You know, all of those emotions. And for any budding singer and artist, that was a dream come true, you know, because we were signed to a really good management team. Ek gora si, ek kala siga, and ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ vision ਬਿਲਕੁਲ different ਸੀਗੀ. You know, had we been signed to an Asian management company, maybe our journey would have been different. You know, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਸੋਚ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਅਲੱਗ ਸੀਗੀ. ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ mainstream ਸੋਚ ਸੀਗੀ ਉਸ ਟਾਈਮ 'ਚ 20 ਸਾਲ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ. You know, and we did things that even today's generation are not doing. Or have not been able to do. You know, being on mainstream television, there was a show called Top of the Pops. We were on that we were on that show, and that was like the biggest and most prestigious music TV show in the world, right? Everybody used to watch on a Friday night. There used to be a top 40 countdown,
Right.
and asi us show te aaye sige. And for the Asian community in the UK, it was like it was a pivotal turning point. Yeah, we've made it. We apne brown faces are on TV, and the whole journey was just been unbelievably amazing.
ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੀ ਭਾਜੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਨਾ, that is when I think the Punjabis in India or the Punjabi speaking culture, people who love the Punjabi music, they used to look forward to music from UK.
Absolutely.
ਆਪਾਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ, we were talking off camera also. There was you, there was Rishi Rich, there was Balli Sagu spinning the tables, there was Taz Stereo Nation.
Absolutely.
ਮੈਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਹੈ ਮਲਕੀਤ ਪਾਜੀ ਵੀ, of course he was hardcore bhangra, but he also is in Birmingham.
Absolutely, yeah.
So ਉਹ ਦੌਰ, how was life in South Hall back then and how is life in South Hall now? I'm asking from a South Hall boy.
Well, South Hall's changed big time. You know, the whole scene has changed, and obviously it's very evident that obviously things have become very digital now. You know, us time मैं छोटा ਹੁੰਦਾ ਟੇਪਾਂ ਵੇਚਦਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀ ਬਰੋਡਵੇ ਤੇ ਮਲਕੀਤ ਭਾਜੀ ਦੀਆਂ ਬੈਲੀ ਸੱਗੂ ਹੁਣਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ and I used to sell tapes. I was like 13-14 years old. I used to sell TDK tapes on the Broadway. And
was this how you used to get your pocket money?
Yeah, I used to deliver newspapers, all sorts. Man, बहुत काम कीते हैं, बहुत बड़े पंगे ले सी छोटे होंदे ने. And but yeah, my passion for music and seeing the scene change, like the passion started coming from India. You know, chota hunda main India bada hunda raha, and the scene in the UK was massive. It was a huge scene. There was a huge live band scene.
Yeah.
Then the names that you mentioned were huge. I was idolizing them. I was following them, and then as time went on, things changed. Everybody there were so many people that added to the growth of the industry. You had your Bali Sagus and then Apache Indian, Taz Paji, Malkeet Paji, and then we came and we changed the vibe and we added the urban touch to it. That brought us across to India. And you're right that the whole of India and US, Canada would look at the UK a bit, and the things have changed now. On UK cho loki dekh rahe hai India ki kar raha hai. Canada ki kar raha, and they've come up and the artists are doing unbelievable numbers. The whole game has changed. Now it's all numbers based. It's all numbers driven. ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ streams ਕਿੰਨੇ ਨੇ, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ listeners ਕਿੰਨੇ ਨੇ. It's a different game now.
ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਵਾਰੀ benchmark ਕੀ ਸੀਗਾ ਭਾਜੀ?
ਯਾਰ ਸਾਡੀ ਵਾਰੀ benchmark ਸੀਗਾ ਵੀ ਕਿੰਨੇ physical items ਵਿਕੀਆਂ. The physical sales. How many?
ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਹਦਾ track ਰੱਖਦੇ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਯਾਰ ਉਹ chart AP ਚਲੀ, ਇਸ store ਤੋਂ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਵਿਕ ਗਈਆਂ?
We didn't really, to be honest.
No?
ਅਸੀਂ 20 years ago ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇਦਾਂ ਸੀ ਵੇ we were living our dream. It was a different era.
ਅੱਛਾ, ਵੱਡੀਆਂ ਗੱਡੀਆਂ ਦਾ ਤੇ ਬੰਗਲਾ ਦਾ ਸ਼ੌਂਕ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀਗਾ?
No, ਪਤਾ ਕੀ ਆ, ਹੁਣ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੱਲ ਪਰਸੋਂ ਸਟੂਡੀਓ 'ਚ ਬੈਠੇ ਸੀ. I was sitting with a bunch of youngsters and very talented youngsters, and we were having this conversation. ਜਿਹੜੀ mindset ਹੁੰਦੀ ਆ ਉਹ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਆ. A lot of people come into music for money now, right? And to chasing numbers. ਵੀ ਕਿੰਨੇ streams ਆਏ ਨੇ ਇਹ ਵਾ. We didn't have that back then.
ਭਾਜੀ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਆਸਾਨ ਵੀ ਤਾਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ. ਅੱਧਾ ਕੰਮ ਮਸ਼ੀਨ ਕਰ ਦਿੰਦੀ ਹੈ.
Yes.
ਤੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ 90 ਸੈਕਿੰਡ ਦੀ ਰੀਲ ਲਈ ਗਾਣਾ ਬਣਾਉਣਾ ਬਸ.
Yeah, true.
ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਐਲਬਮਸ, ਫਿਰ ਕੌਣ ਉਸ ਤੇ ਪੈਸਾ
ਲਾਏਗਾ, 4 ਮਿੰਟ ਦੇ ਗਾਣੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਉਦੋਂ,
ਕੌਣ ਰਿਕਾਰਡ ਕਰੇਗਾ, ਫਿਰ ਆਪਾਂ ਰਿਲੀਜ਼ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ. ਅੱਜ ਦੀ ਡੇਟ 'ਚ ਦੇ ਪਲੇਟਫਾਰਮਸ, ਯੂ ਪੁੱਟ ਇਟ ਫ੍ਰੀ ਆਫ ਕਾਸਟ. ਆਪਾਂ ਦੋਸਤ ਆਪਾਂ ਸ਼ੂਟ ਕਰ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਆ, ਕੈਮਰਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਫੋਨ 'ਚ, ਇੰਨਾ ਵਧੀਆ ਕੈਮਰਾ ਆ ਗਿਆ ਅੱਜ ਕੱਲ੍ਹ.
That's right.
So to make music it's easy, but to then stay there, like the legend word, for example, that is now difficult probably.
That is difficult. And that, like you said earlier when we were talking off air, that the songs have a very short shelf life. Gana aanda je chal gaya and it's a super hit, meena dead meena maybe, and then gone.
But I work for a radio station. We should be the primary source of putting up music to the world. We follow a list of what are the viral tracks on the reels.
Right, look, dekh lo.
And the songs are 1 minute 30 second. 1 ਮਿੰਟ 50 ਸੈਕਿੰਡ, ਇੰਨੇ ਕਿੰਨੇ ਤਾਂ ਗਾਣੇ ਬਣ ਰਹੇ, ਜਿੰਨੇ ਸ਼ਾਇਦ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਸ਼ੁਰੂਆਤ ਦੇ ਆਲਾਪ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਸਿਰਫ ਗਾਣਿਆਂ ਦੇ. ਬਿਲਕੁਲ.
Yeah, no, it's changed a big time.
So how does Juggy D, okay, you're sitting with a bunch of this generation kids. And you walk into the studio. I'm giving you a scenario. You walk into the studio, there's a bunch of like a dozen of these new people who are wanting to crack the scene. And you walk in. How should people receive you, or how would you introduce yourself, let's say?
You know what? First of all, I don't carry an ego, right? मैं तो उन्होंने भरावां वांगू मिलदा, भैणां वांगू मिलदा, and I'm just a normal guy that's just passionate about music and had an amazing journey, you know. So I just love seeing what they're about, hearing their talent, and you know, it's nice to hear that. Sometimes, like when I was in a few months ago, I came and I did a session with some youngsters, young lads in Chandigarh, and ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਬਾਤਾਂ ਚੋਂ we worked out that ਜਦੋਂ ਮੇਰਾ ਪਹਿਲਾ ਗਾਣਾ ਆਇਆ ਸੀ ਇੱਕ ਜੰਮਿਆ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ, ਇੱਕ 1 ਸਾਲ ਦਾ ਸੀ ਤੇ ਇੱਕ 3 ਸਾਲ ਦਾ ਸੀ, right? But they were so respectful and they were like, Paji, we're so grateful to be sitting here with you. I said, listen, I said, that's really nice to hear, but I said, I'm actually really excited sitting here with you. I said, because you're the new generation, you're the new talent of this generation who's carrying the music, you know. So that's why I'm actually here. That's why we called this session, because I had this thing in my head. I was like, menu 23 saal ho gaye industry de vich, right? I'm in my mid-40s, right? How do I connect with the Gen Zs? How do I connect with the youth of today? And the answer was simple. Work with them. Work with the youngsters. What's their vibe? What's their sound? What's their lyrical style? मैं बथेरे गाने लिखे हैं, touchwood, महाराज दी कृपा नाल hit भी होए ने. It's good to use other people. It's good to use other influence, other talent, and then merge it with your own style and bring something new. And we're making that kind of music now.
But Paji, ek phrase hai, correct me if I'm wrong, you say that you don't have an ego. But there's a very popular phrase which says, talent breeds ego. It does.
Talent breeds ego.
If I'm talented,
Yeah.
I am given an opportunity to go on stage.
Yep.
1 stage, 2 stage, 10 shows. The 11th show I go and I meet someone, I'll be like, oh, I've done it enough. Don't tell me. It's very natural, honestly.
I don't know, man. I mean, my people around me, I've been brought up from back in the day where I was always told is, let your music do the talking. Avda pump kadi na maro. Avdi sift na kadi karo. Je agla mure sift karda na, that means you've done something good. Nimi pa ke taro, Rabb ape thanu uchaiyan te leke janda.
Right.
And that's the way I've moved all the time. And I think partly the reason that I'm still doing shows in India to this day is because of the way I treat people. I treat my clients. I treat, you know, the bride and groom that are booking me for their wedding. I make them part of my show. You know, I see artists here. When they do stage, they need to
Ego hai na, Paji. Stage mera hai. You're paying me to perform. I'm performing. That's it.
So that's the difference. मैं तो सारी फैमिली ਨੂੰ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਕਰ ਲੈਣਾ. I make them part of the show. It's your day. I've just come to help entertain. But this is your day. This is.
ਮੈਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਭਾਜੀ ਜੋ ਵਿਆਹ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਇਨਵਾਈਟ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ honestly ਉਹ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਤੋਂ ਉੱਪਰ ਹੈ because he can afford you. Honestly, half the artists to perform for whatever amount. ਜੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਵਿਆਹ ਹੋਏਗਾ ਨਾ, they ask for people who can do favors and come for free. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, yeah, very true.
Half of them would be like, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆ ਜਾਓ ਆਪਾਂ ਦੇਖ ਲਾਂਗੇ.
Yeah.
Because I won't pay an X amount to get an artist on stage for me. So
yeah, true.
So honestly, the family.
ਯਾਰੀ ਦੋਸਤੀ ਵੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਬੰਦੇ obviously turn up and ਹਰ ਕੋਈ ਇੱਕ ਅੱਧਾ ਗਾਣਾ ਗਾ ਦਿੰਦਾ ਤੇ ਰੌਣਕ ਲੱਗ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ. I've done it many times. I've been to loads of friends functions and parties and you know we all do it. And now ਆਪਾਂ ਦਿਲੋਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ. You know ਜੇ ਪਿਆਰ ਆ ਬੰਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਤਾਂ ਬੰਦਾ ਥੋੜੀ ਕੁਛ ਮੰਗਦਾ ਹੈ. You just go there, you're invited as a guest and you know you fulfill something that you know they're going to enjoy.
Paji, ਵਿਆਹ ਵਾਲੇ show versus the live shows. You're a live wire. I've seen you on the live shows, by the way. Versus the ਵਿਆਹ ਵਾਲੇ show. What excites you more? And what is the difference when you perform?
Look, you know, for me, when I perform, the energy is always the same. I don't differentiate and I don't make any changes to my set in that sense where, you know, I'm not going to, oh, chal, idda hi kar lange. Nahi, it's got to be high energy, up tempo. We've got to make sure that we put on a good show. And that's for both. And each show is very different. I love live shows and I love doing the wedding shows as well because they're very intimate. They're die-hard fans. Unhone thonu book kita kyunki there's some nostalgia attached to your music with them.
Right.
You know, they say, yaar, we grew up on your music. Sada college days da, or I proposed on your song, or something like this comes out, you know. So you want to make them feel special. And that's why I bring them up on stage. I'll change songs, lyrics with their names in there and
Yep.
stuff like that, you know,
Yep.
make it very personal to them.
Yep.
So both shows, I love doing both. But, you know, we did, the other day we did Horn OK Please.
Yep.
Big food festival in Delhi at JLN Stadium. Crowd was amazing. 10-15,000 ਬੰਦਾ ਸੀ ਉੱਥੇ and ਇੰਨਾ ਪਿਆਰ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਲੋਕ to somebody who's from the UK, born and raised, and 2 decades later, still that same love. It's such a blessing.
That's a sweet, very cute answer, Paji. I'll put you in a fix. There's the same date, and you have either you go on a stage at a JLN Stadium or you perform at a wedding. Where will you go?
Whoever pays the most money.
That's the truth.
यार और देखो ਬੱਚੇ ਤਿੰਨ ਨੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਥੋੜਾ ਬੁਲਾਉਣਾ ਯਾਰ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਪੈਸੇ ਦੇਗਾ ਉੱਥੇ ਹੀ ਜਾਵਾਂਗੇ ਨਾ ਇਹ ਤਾਂ ਇਹ ਹਿਊਮਨ ਨੇਚਰ ਹੈ ਯਾਰ
ਸਹੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ
ਠੀਕ ਹੈ ਆਪਾਂ passion, music is our passion, but you know it's like it's become a hobby again. I love doing it, and it's been my hobby, then my career, and now it's a hobby again. But you know, ultimately, you know, this is our work too, right? So we got to make sure
things
are
covered. ਸ਼ੋਅ 'ਚ ਨਾ ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਬਹੁਤ crazy demands ਵੀ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਹੈ ਉਹਦਾ ਗਾਣਾ ਵੀ ਗਾ ਦਿਓ ਜੀ ਉਹ ਗਾਣਾ ਗਾ ਦਿਓ ਜੱਗੀ ਭਾਜੀ ਆਹ ਕਰ ਦਿਓ ਉਹ ਕਰ ਦਿਓ how do you cater to them then?
We have medleys anyway. ਸਾਡੀਆਂ ਮੈਡਲੀਆਂ ਤਿਆਰ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ there was a time, I remember, ਇੱਕ ਟਾਈਮ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਹੋਰ ਕਿਸੇ ਦਾ ਗਾਣਾ ਕੋਈ ਗਾਉਂਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਤੇ that was the culture in India, and we followed that as well. You know, people we'd say I don't sing anybody else's songs. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਬੁੱਕ ਕੀਤਾ ਮੈਂ ਆਪਦੇ ਗਾਣੇ ਗਾਵਾਂਗਾ, you know, and then slowly people started doing it.
ਕਿਉਂ ਹੋਇਆ ਇਹ ਚੇਂਜ ਕਿਉਂ ਹੋਇਆ ਫਿਰ ਅੱਜ ਕਿਉਂ ਗਾ ਦਿੰਦੇ
I think the change came because you know ਇੱਕ ਅੱਧੇ ਨੇ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੋਣਾ and they thought, well, ਉਹ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਕਰਨਾ ਪੈਣਾ, you know, and it's as time goes on
ਪੈਸਾ ਵੱਧ ਗਿਆ
whatever it is, you know, but then it also shows your versatility. You know, if you are an artist, you should be able to sing a variety of different styles, different genres, different songs, and to be honest, it makes your set better. You know, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ set ਆ ਉਹ ਉਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਵਧੀਆ ਬਣ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਹਿੱਟਸ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਆਲਰੇਡੀ ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ and then you sing 10 other hits by other artists, you got a super hit show. You know, and for weddings ਚੱਲਦਾ ਹੈ ਅੱਜ ਕੱਲ if you don't sing somebody else's song, they'll book somebody else over you. They say ਨਹੀਂ ਯਾਰ ਇਹਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਬਣਨੀ
marketing.
So medleys ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਤਿਆਰ ਰੱਖਦੇ ਆ ਤੇ ਅਪਡੇਟ ਵੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਜਦੋਂ ਨਵਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਹਿੱਟ ਗਾਣਾ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਉਹ ਵਿੱਚ ਲਾ ਦੇਈਦਾ, you know, and yeah, it's good fun.
ਭਾਜੀ ਇੱਕ ਨਾ ਇੱਕ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਉਹਦੀ ਕਦਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਕਿਸੇ ਹੋਰ ਕੋਲ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਉਹਦੀ ਕਦਰ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ. I'll put it in the music sense. Currently the 5 top Punjabi artists are Diljit Dosanjh, doesn't stay in India, AP Itillo doesn't stay in India, Karan Aujla doesn't stay in India, and rest too you can add probably any of them. And they're not from Punjab, so daily or Punjab the you know happenings, what's happening, news to milti, but they don't see it themselves, and they are hit, and they're carrying this Punjabi language everywhere. What do you think, why a Punjabi artist from Punjab versus a Punjabi artist follows the same language but not from Punjab? Why is there such a big gap of them being popular and the Punjabi artists not being popular?
ਇਹ ਤਾਂ ਬੰਦੇ ਦੀ ਕਿਸਮਤ ਹੈ ਯਾਰ. I don't have an actual answer for that, and I don't think there is an official answer for that. You know, everybody ਮਿਹਨਤ ਸਾਰੇ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ, you know, ਹਰ ਕਿਸੇ ਦਾ ਟਾਈਮ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਹੈ, and ਹੁਣ you know ਦਿਲਜੀਤ ਬਾਈ ਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਲਓ ਕਾਦੇ ਲੱਗੇ ਨੇ ਪਰ ਸੁਪਰ ਹਿੱਟ ਪਿਛਲੇ 3-4-5 ਸਾਲਾਂ ਚ ਹੋਏ, you know, but he's been singing for over 20 years,
right,
you know? So ਹਰ ਬੰਦੇ ਦੀ ਤਕਦੀਰ ਕਿਸਮਤ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਉਹ journey te leke jandi hai. You know, we had our time from 2003, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We had 5 years at the peak of our, you know, our career. Toured the world 2-3 times over, did big shows all over India on big stages and MTV. Like I remember Paji ne mainu ਇਹ ਗੱਲ ਕਹੀ ਸੀ, Diljit Paji ne years ago, ਅਸੀਂ gym ਚ ਸੀਗੇ, and we were in Radisson and
Delhi,
Chandigarh, yeah, and he came out, Paji ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੈਂ ਦਿਲਜੀਤ, and I went Paji ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ, and he said ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡੇ ਫੈਨ ਆ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ, he goes big fan of Rishi Rich party, he goes ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ MTV ਤੇ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਬੇ ਮੁੰਡੇ ਬਾਹਰਲੇ ਇੰਡੀਆ MTV ਤੇ ਨੇ, what a amazing thing to see, you know, and those conversations. Now look where he's at. He's done Coachella. Everyone's had their time. everyone has their time, their window, and ਜਦੋਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਦਾ time ਹੁੰਦਾ ਉਹ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ, you know, you don't know when it's going to come, ਪਰ ਮਿਹਨਤ ਜਾਰੀ ਰੱਖੋ.
Do you miss that time when Juggy D, Rishi Rich were at their peak? Do you miss that?
No, well, I look at them, they're now memories, they're good memories. Obviously, like, you know,
But everyone wants a little more of the cake, Paji.
of course they do, but you know, my cake is different now. What I get pleasure from now is completely different. I've been in the industry for over 2 decades. You know, for me, making a song and enjoying the process is more satisfying.
Irrespective of the numbers.
Irrespective of, we had this what I'm saying. So we had this conversation in the room with the youngsters, and they wanted to get my perspective on everything. And they said, Paji, do you look at all your numbers daily? And I said, no, I don't. I said, because that's not what it's
But
all
Paji,
about
the
for me.
artists that you're trying to work with, let's say, for them, the benchmark is numbers. Because they're this generation artists.
Yeah.
How do you amalgamate or how do you bridge both of them?
No, so what I do is I work with producers and writers. Not to collaborate in the sense of singing. Because, in their head, they might think, oh, Paji, the number nahi enne hage, sanu ki fayda
Probably
karda.
they could,
You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So, ours is a different take. I'm working with writers and producers that will work well with my style as well. And we jam and we see what comes out from it. And, you know, if something comes of it good, then great. And we respect everyone. Everyone gets looked after along the way. Jo bande nu, you know, we need to give whatever to whoever. Everybody gets looked after correctly and respected. And then, you know, we move forward with the project. But ultimately, it's something that I'm working on. It's my vision, right? I want to work with some new writers, new producers. And it's not about the numbers for me. Yes, great. If they go through the roof, badhiya. But that's not my main focus. Mera main focus hai, I love making music and I want to try something different. Je hit ho gaya, great. Je na hoya, theek hai. Koi gal nahi. But did we enjoy the process? Yes. Did that give my soul pleasure? Yes. Did it make me feel good? Yes. Am I now listening to this and going, yeah, that was a good time. That was a great project. I enjoyed that. Because of my journey that I'm in now, I live in a lot of gratitude. I'm in a lot of peace, you know. So the first thing in my life that I am grateful for every day is waking up. I don't care about anything else. Problems, this, that, what. It's okay. It's part of life. But the main thing is, ਰੱਬ ਨੇ ਇੱਕ ਹੋਰ ਮੌਕਾ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਜਿਉਣ ਦਾ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਕਈ ਲੋਕ ਅੱਜ ਉੱਠੇ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ. So ਕੀ ਫਾਇਦਾ ਐਵੇਂ focusing on this and that, things that don't really matter. Material things. Yeah, we all like wearing nice things, this, that, the other. But it's not the ultimate goal anymore. It's the ultimate goal is being at peace with yourself, enjoying your life and enjoying the process.
ਪਰ ਇੱਥੇ ਪਹੁੰਚਣ ਤੱਕ ਵੀ ਭਾਜੀ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਉਹ 20-22 ਸਾਲ ਦੀ ਜਰਨੀ ਕਰਨੀ
ਪੈਂਦੀ ਆ. ਅਪ ਡਾਊਨਸ ਵੀ ਲੈਣੇ ਪੈਂਦੇ ਨੇ. ਰੌਕ ਬਾਟਮ ਵੀ ਹਿੱਟ ਹੋਣਾ ਪੈਂਦਾ. ਤਾਂ ਹੀ ਹੁਣ ਲਾਈਕ ਮੇਰ ਬਾਬੇ ਦੀ ਨਾਲ 3.5 years sober, you know.
Rock bottom, 3.5 years sober, Paji.
Yeah.
I've been following a lot of the Instagram stories. You used to have a count. So many days of being sober, so many days of away from alcohol, away from smoke, away from everything. And you've then very actively spoken about, to the youth, addressing the youth that there's nothing in drugs, don't go for vaping and everything. Tell me the transition. What was it that exactly happened?
There was a lot that happened. You know, the first and foremost is I blame my dad. It's my dad's fault. And people ask me, why is it your dad's fault? Daddy ਦੀ ਕੀ ਗਲਤੀ ਹੈ? ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਜਦੋਂ ਛੋਟੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਨਾ, ਡੈਡੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਪੁੱਤ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਨਾ ਡਟ ਕੇ ਕਰਨਾ. ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਪੀਤੀ ਫਿਰ ਡਟ ਕੇ ਪੀਤੀ. ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਸੰਭਾਲ ਲਈ ਹੋਈ ਛੱਡਣੀ ਪਈ. So that was what happened, man. I couldn't control it. When I drank like like a fish. You know, Punjabi it was the Punjabi in me came out and it was like ਪੀਣੀਆਂ ਤਾਂ ਰੱਜ ਕੇ ਪੀਣੀਆਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਪੀਣੀ.
ਜਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਰਵਾਂ ਜਾਂ ਬੋਤਲ ਰਵੇ.
ਹਾਂ, ਪਰ ਬੋਤਲ ਹਾਥੀਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਢਾਲ ਦਿੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਯਾਰ, ਬੰਦਾ ਕੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਆ. So you know, you have to wake up at some point and go, ਨਹੀਂ ਯਾਰ, there's too many consequences, there's too many problems that this is creating.
Was it pure alcohol that was the problem, Baji?
There was other recreational substances that were involved. There was ਭਾਈ ਪਤਾ ਕੀ ਆ, ਜਦੋਂ ਬੰਦਾ ਦਾਰੂ ਪੀ ਲੈਂਦਾ ਨਾ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਦੇ ਸੈਂਸਸ 'ਚ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦੇ. then you do things which you wouldn't do if you were sober. Okay? So that was the journey. And making bad choices when you're under the influence of alcohol is something which you got to get a grip of. And you either are able to drink, like I wish I was able to drink like my dad. बड़ा क्लासी स्टाइल है, 2 पैग लाने शाम ਨੂੰ ਰੋਟੀ ਖਾ ਕੇ ਸੌ ਜਾਣਾ ਯਾਰ ਆਪਾਂ 2 ਪੈਗ ਲਾ ਕੇ ਬੰਦੇ ਲੱਭੀ ਦੇ ਆ ਭਾਈ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਚੱਲ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਚਲੋ ਆ ਗਏ ਉਹ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਖਤਮ ਹੋਈ ਭਾਈ ਹੁਣ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਚੱਲ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਬਸ ਆ ਗਏ
ਭਾਜੀ ਪਰ ਇਹਦੇ ਲਈ ਤਾਂ ਦੋਸਤ ਮਿੱਤਰ ਵੀ they are also to blame, no? Your circle.
No. I never.
No, but it resonates. No, the people you hang out with, after a point in time, you become like them.
Yeah, but they would finish and go home, and then I'd find somebody else. ਇਹ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਸੀ ਨਾ ਤੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਬਾਕਵੀਤੀ ਐਡੀ ਵੱਡੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਬੰਦੇ ਦੀ you have so many friends and so many. Now my circle is very small.
ਭਾਜੀ ਕਿਸੇ ਆਰਟਿਸਟ ਨੇ ਕਰਦੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਨੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਆਰਟਿਸਟ ਨੇ ਇਹ ਗੱਲ ਕੈਮਰਾ ਤੇ ਕਬੂਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀਤੀ ਫਰਸਟਲੀ I'll give it to you. You're coming out and accepting that you've been through things, you've done things that were probably bad in taste, and you'll not encourage anyone to do that. People don't, Indian artists for that matter, they'll never come and claim this on camera. You've done that on your Instagram, you've done that on camera as well.
Should I tell you why? Because it's helping a lot of people. It's helping a lot of people.
But there's a lot of backlash probably that you get?
I don't care. What's that going to do to me? And what? I'm being real. I'm human. इंसानी गलतियां करदा हर कोई गलती करदा but it's how you come back from it. Now people are following the journey of somebody who messed up, who hit rock bottom and has changed his life and come back and is now living his best life. So if he can do it, I can do it, and that's why I share it. That's why I openly talk about it, because it needs to be talked about. Because UK ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ and I think probably India ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ the suicide rate for people that are suffering in silence is through the roof. ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਆਪਣੀ pride ਤੇ ਅਣਖ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਬੜੇ ਪੰਜਾਬੀਆਂ ਦੀ, not even just ਬੰਦਿਆਂ ਦੀ, ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਯਾਰ ਮੈਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਹਿ ਸਕਦਾ ਵੀ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਆ, ਜੇ ਮੈਂ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਕਹਤਾ ਮੈਂ ਤਾਂ I look weak.
ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਸੀਗੀ when you were into this?
Of course there was a problem. The problem was I didn't have control over it. You know, I didn't have control over it. I wouldn't be able to. There was no off button. On hi chalda thi.
That's why they say you know when to stop.
I didn't know when to stop. If I started, I didn't know when to stop.
And कितना साल चले भाजी ये सारा?
Yeah, look, I went through my 20s, my 30s, you know, and but I उस time में आप नु क्या सी बे जब मैं 40 कितना होऊंगा ना, I want to stop this all. And then that's when you realize it's a problem, when you can't stop. And you think, yaar, ये तो काम ही बड़ा औखा है, छड्डना बड़ा औखा है, and then that's a journey.
ਤੇ ਇਦਾਂ ਦਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਭਾਜੀ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਦਿਨ ਸਵੇਰੇ ਉੱਠੋ ਤੇ ਸਭ ਕੁਝ ਛੱਡ ਦਿਓ?
Yaar, it's very difficult. It's very difficult, man.
ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਲੈਤਾ ਹੈ ਫੈਸਲਾ?
Very difficult.
ਕਿੱਦਾਂ?
So my situation was, you know, it hit rock bottom. I was in a very, very bad situation. I have 3 children, and I was separated, you know, because of some of the bad choices I made. And I wasn't going to see my daughter for the first time on her birthday. And that was my turning point. There'd been a lot of things that built up for me to make that decision. But the actual turning point was me not being able to see my daughter. ਜਿਹੜੀ ਬੱਚੀ ਨੂੰ ਮੈਂ ਆਪਦੇ ਹੱਥਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਇਸ ਦੁਨੀਆ 'ਚ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਇਆ. I delivered my daughter. She took her first breath of life in my arms. And when I wasn't able to see her, that day, 15th of October 2021, मैं गुरुद्वारे जाके मत्था टेका. मैं कहा बाबा जी हिम्मत दो, मैं सब कुछ छड़ दूंगा, हिम्मत दो. And 16th of October, after that day, I went back to AA, which is Alcoholics Anonymous, and I got a sponsor, and I started working on the steps. I did 96 meetings in 90 days. हर रोज मैं जाता सी मीटिंग पे, and every day that I went to that meeting, I came out feeling stronger, came feeling better, and I sat with people that all had the same problem as me, whether it was drink or substance abuse or, you know, and they were all on the same page, and there was no judgment. They were just there to help you, support you, and uplift you, and say you can do this. And you know what the best advice for me was? Don't think about giving up everything for the rest of your life. ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬੰਦੇ ਨੂੰ ਕਹੋਗੇ ਨਾ ਤੂੰ ਕਦੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ 'ਚ ਪੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਕਦਾ, ਤੂੰ ਕਹੇਗਾ ਯਾਰ ਇਦਾਂ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਕਰ ਲਾਂਗੇ, ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਦਿਮਾਗ will fail already.
Yeah.
ਸੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਏਗਾ ਯਾਰ ਮੈਂ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਤੇ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਜਾਵਾਂਗਾ ਮੈਂ ਦੋਸਤਾਂ 'ਚ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਬੈਠਾਂਗਾ.
So smaller targets.
Yes. Can you stop for 24 hours? Of course I can. Just do it for 24 hours then. Come back tomorrow, just don't have a drink today.
But before this, it was 365 days, 7 days of the week. Was it like that?
No. See, that's not what an alcoholic is. I used to think an alcoholic is somebody that drinks every day.
Who's an alcoholic then?
An alcoholic is somebody that doesn't have control over his alcoholism. Somebody that is not within their control when they drink. You could have one drink and all bets are off. That's it. ਮੈਂ ਇੱਕ ਪੈਗ ਲਾ ਲਿਆ ਨਾ ਖਤਮ ਹੋ ਗਈ ਕਹਾਣੀ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਹੁਣ ਇੱਥੋਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਵੀ ਕੀ ਹੋਏਗਾ ਤੇ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਜਾਏਗਾ and what's going to happen. I have no idea.
Even if you drink once in 2 months, let's say?
That once in 2 months will be carnage. And that's how I drank. So I might not drink for 4 weeks, but when I did drink, 2 दिन बंदा गैब एक ही system है यार. This is wrong. This is not healthy. This is horrible for people around you. You might not be physically doing something to them, but emotionally you're not present.
I have to ask you, Paji, sorry, but during the course of all this, how would you see yourself in the mirror, honestly?
As an arsehole. I'm sorry to use that word, but you look at yourself and you think, what am I doing, man?
What do you talk to yourself?
Yeah. You look in the mirror, you slap yourself. You say, yaar, banda ban yaar. Himmat kar. You can do this. You got to build yourself up, man. It's tough. It's a hard battle, and you got to do it on your own. No one's there to help you, man. No one's going to pick you up. किसी ने हाथ नहीं पकड़ना. सिर्फ रब हाथ पकड़दा. रब ते छड़ दो. हिम्मत रखो, and anything is achievable. Anything is possible. I tell my kids that now. Sometimes they'll watch the TV and say, "Wow, I wish I could do that." I said, "Change that. Change that sentence. Don't say I wish I could do that. Say how can I do that." And if you want to do it, let's start. Because they've started somewhere. You know?
Are your kids proud of you now?
I think so.
You don't had a conversation with them?
They're young yet. 13. But that, I can see it in their eyes. You know, they're proud of
with their age, let's say, from 8 to 13, there are images that never forget.
No, but I never, there was nothing in front of them that took place. It was very, very, like, I was not, I never drank at home. They never saw a drunk falling over dad or aggressive dad I was never that guy. I was actually quite a fun, entertaining banda when I drank. People would want to party with me, you know? Say, bhai tere naal party. How do we kende ne? Bhai hale bhi kende ne? Kende yaar, bro, ਜੇ ਤੂੰ ਨਾ ਕਦੀ ਪੀਤੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਦੱਸ ਦੀ ਯਾਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਤੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਪੀਣੀ ਆ ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਮੈਂ ਕੰਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਹੱਥ ਲਾਏ ਹੋਏ ਆ ਮੈਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਪੀਣੀ
ਹੁਣ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਭਾਜੀ
ਯਾਰ ਮੈਂ ਕਰਦਾ ਪਾਰਟੀ but it's a different party
what is it now
now I enjoy the company of my friends ਜਿਹੜੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਹੁਣ I've got a friend circle 30 plus years university friends
but everyone's drinking
they're all drinking
what are you drinking
I'm drinking coffee I'm drinking and ਉਹ ਵੀ ਹੈਰਾਨ ਨੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਯਾਰ you've done so well and sometimes I say yaar aaj ji karda pa yaar aaj peeni hai banda ban ja le peeni hai they'll never encourage me to and I test them just to see what their reaction is because I want to see what their reaction is.
Paji ek film bani Aashiki 2
acha
you dekhe ho Bollywood film
okay yeah
it's exactly the same
okay
like he loses control he loses a lot of things in life the fame he's also a singer a probable singer getting in his girlfriend etc everything so probably a real life example but curious to know in the process when you shift do you lose friends also कि ਹੁਣ ਤਾਂ ਯਾਰ ਪੀਂਦਾ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਯਾਰ ਹੁਣ ਤਾਂ
no you don't lose friends you
use fake friends
no you see who the real ones are and you also have to change certain things anyway and when you make those choices you will not go to places where you used to go before because you're now consumed with better choices like I said, I do AA meetings. I go to better functions where I wouldn't have gone before. You know, I do breathwork classes. I go to sound healing classes. I do stuff that I would never have done if I didn't hit rock bottom. You know, if you don't, you gotta look. The other thing that I don't do is I never preach to anybody. On mere yaar mitra peende ne, main unhanu hi nahi kavaanga. But yaar na pee. ਤੂੰ ਕਾਹਤੇ ਪੀ ਰਿਹਾ, ਮੈਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਪੀਂਦਾ, ਤੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ, ਤੈਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਪੀਣੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ। I never done that. Never ever done that.
That's a wise man.
I just sit there, I enjoy it. ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਯਾਰ ਉਹ ਪੀ ਰਿਹਾ, ਉਹ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਠੀਕ ਆ, it doesn't upset his system, it doesn't upset his life, let him enjoy it. ਮੈਂ ਕੌਣ ਆ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਰੋਕਣ ਵਾਲਾ, right? That's his journey. My journey was different. But we can still sit in the same room. He could be drinking and I'll be having coffee and we'll still have the same fun. Kyunki dil naal jadon dil milda, it doesn't matter. You don't, and they will not encourage me, like I said, you know, we and I'll still be there till 3 in the morning. And I will be dancing, ਅਸੀਂ ਗਾਣੇ ਗਾਉਂਦੇ ਆ ਤੇ and ਉਹ ਦੂਸਰੇ ਦਿਨ ਵੀ ਹਲੇ ਤੱਕ ਵੀ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਫੋਨ ਕਰਕੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਯਾਰ ਤੂੰ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਕਰ ਲੈਂਦਾ ਯਾਰ, ਮੈਨੂੰ ਸਮਝ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਉਂਦੀ, how do you sit with us until that hour of the morning sober? ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਯਾਰ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਦਾ ਨਸ਼ਾ ਹੀ ਬਥੇਰਾ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਹੁਣ, I'm living in a different mindset. I don't need anything.
But Paji, do you think that the artist phase of someone that pretty much drags you to the parties and late night parties and all that?
Yeah.
Have you ever do you have a regret that you're an artist because of all of this came in?
No. You can never live in regret. It's an experience of life. Everything teaches you something, but you have to look for the lesson in it. Don't look for the pain, look for the lesson.
What's the music scene coming in?
So music scene, you know, especially with the journey that I'm on, my first release of 2025 is going to be a shabad.
Oh wow.
Yeah, shabad asi parya and Tera Ditta Khavana. That's what it's called. And it's with Nirvair Khalsa Jatha from UK. And उन्होंने एक बहुत वायरल शब्द हो गया सी उन्हों दा एक जिहड़ा उन्होंने भरिया सी सुख तेरा दिता लईए.
Oh yes.
हाँ जी, उन्हों दे नाल कर रहे हैं. सुख तेरा दिता लईए. That was so beautiful and मैं आपदे बच्चों ਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਗਿਆ ਸੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਕੀਰਤਨ ਤੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਮਿਲੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਭਾਜੀ ਨੂੰ ਐਂਡ ਹਰਿੰਦਰ ਭਾਈ ਜੀ ਐਂਡ ਦੂਸਰੇ ਦਿਨ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਆਪੇ ਫੋਨ ਆ ਗਿਆ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਮੈਂ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਫੋਨ ਕਰਾਂਗਾ. He felt something from me as well. And I was going through some stuff and he felt something and he said, Paji, everything's going to be okay. And I was like, yaar kamal hai. Intuition aa gayi ਉਹਨਾਂ ਚ and he said ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕੱਲ ਨੂੰ ਕਾਲ ਕਰਾਂਗਾ. And he did call and then ਮੈਂ ਮੈਨੀਫੈਸਟ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਸੀਗਾ ਵੀ ਮੈਂ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਪੜਨਾ ਤੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਪੜਨਾ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਮੰਮੀ ਦੀ ਇੱਛਾ ਸੀ ਵੀ ਮੰਮ ਦੀ ਉਮਰ ਹੋ ਗਈ ਹੈ ਹੁਣ 85 ਸਾਲ ਦੀ ਤੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਦੇਰ ਦੇ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਵੀ ਇੱਕ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਪੜ you know ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ like they getting on in age now but they still ਤਕੜੇ ਨੇ. ਪੰਜਾਬ ਹੁਣ ਜਦੋਂ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਆ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਨੇ ਇੱਥੋਂ ਦੀ ਰੋਟੀ ਖਾ ਕੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਤੇ ਪਾਣੀ ਪੀ ਕੇ ਦੁਬਾਰਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਆਵਾਜ਼ ਹੀ ਬਦਲ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ. They come with full energy like you know and she's 85 and she's doing well, touch wood, you know. So yeah, we've recorded the shabd and ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਇੱਛਾ ਸੀ and ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਮੈਂ ਰੀਚ ਪੂਰੀ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਆਪਦੀ ਵੀ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ. and ਭਾਜੀ ਨੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਆਪ ਪੁੱਛਿਆ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ I'd love for you to feature and I said this is unbelievable. ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਆਪ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ ਪੁੱਛਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ straight away because I didn't want you to feel like I was you know only there for that reason. ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ I genuinely follow you guys and my kids I wanted them to experience it ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਉਹ ਇੰਗਲਿਸ਼ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ explain ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ and so yeah it was really beautiful and we've now finally done the vocals and Zeus Paji
oh he's also on board.
He's doing the production.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's ਅਸੀਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਦੇਰ ਦੇ ਬੜੇ ਸਾਲਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਵੀ ਗਾਣਾ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਇਕੱਠੇ and never happened and ਦੇਖੋ ਕਿਹੜਾ ਗਾਣਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ and you know they ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਮੰਮੀ ਡੈਡੀ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਲ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਛੋਟੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਤੋਂ ਹੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਰਹੇ ਆ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵੀ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਨਾ ਰੱਬ ਦਾ ਨਾਮ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਕਰੋ. ਸੋ ਇਹ ਸਾਲ ਵੀ ਆਪਾਂ before the new music other stuff comes out ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੀ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਕੱਢ ਕੇ ਫਿਰ ਉਦੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਬਾਕੀ ਦੇ ਗਾਣੇ ਕੱਢਾਂਗੇ.
I'm looking into your eyes for a long time, Paji, now. What was the last time you cried?
I cry quite a bit. I'm an emotional man. And you just asking me that is making me feel emotional because there's a lot of stuff that I'm carrying, you know. I'm going through some stuff at the moment, but that I don't share my personal stuff. I still try to keep motivated and keep people uplifted through my story. Because look, if I was not in music, I would not be on social media. I keep my personal life very private, yeah. But I'm going through stuff at the moment. I've been separated for 1 year. I don't get to see my kids as often. That hurts. Very painful. Very painful. But every day I wake up with a smile and say, it's going to be all right.
I will end this right here. But Paji, wish you lots and lots of music.
Thank you.
Rab kare, the journey that you've been following in the past 3.5 years, that prospers. And we see you quite often in India.
Yes, absolutely.
Loads and loads of energy. For
Thank
me,
you.
Juggy D was about that flamboyant spring kind of a person. On the stage, on the camera, jumping around, making us all dance and vibe. Like, my neck used to be like, oh, kidam mud gaya, oh, kidam mud gaya. Wish you all of that.
Thank you, brother.
But just
Thank
before
you.
signing it off, Paji, are do you still hang out with Rishi Rich and that gang?
Yeah.
Can you splint?
I don't see them as
beans?
much as I used to. You know, everybody's busy in their own things and doing their own things, and I'm experimenting with other producers, other artists, and it's good to, you know, see sanu kinne saal ho gaye ikkathe nu karde nu, you know, and sometimes you need to make some changes and try some different things. I'm working with an amazing vocalist and sound and recording engineer. I record my vocals with her. Her name is Sona Rele. If you ever come across her, check her out on Instagram.
Absolutely.
She's unbelievable. Her mother used to sing in the same band with Asha ji and Lata ji.
Wow.
Yes, massive. That is
Yeah.
you know, and beautiful family. And I record with her. I'm doing a song with her as well. Asi gana kar rahe hain. We've done a big old school cover track of a huge mainstream song. We're working on that at the moment as we speak. So there's lots of exciting stuff happening. And yeah, so
just a question I could now remember. How true is this that Jay Sean was actually the one who spotted Justin Bieber? Is there a connection?
I don't know about that.
No?
I don't know about that. Spotted Justin Bieber.
Someone. Probably he gave Justin his first chance or first stage probably.
No, I don't know about that.
Not
No,
that
Justin
true?
was discovered on YouTube.
No, but I heard this. Probably
I don't know. I don't know. You'd have to
theory
ask him
on
that. Mainu nahi pata.
Thank you, Baji. Thank you so much.
No worries. No, thank you. Thank you for
Such a
having me.
pleasure. I'm
Big up
sure apart from
Radio
music
City.
also, there are a lot of other things that people should learn from whatever the chat has been. Thank you so much.
Radio City, Radio City, Radio City, Radio City, रग रग में दौड़े सिटी।